Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So as you can see from the title, today I'm going to be discussing my recently new diagnosis of non-epileptic seizures. So if you're not already aware and you haven't followed on this journey, I have been having fainting episodes for nearly 2 years. It's 2 years in September. It started off with when I was at college. I thought it was just part of a panic attack, and then I basically fainted out of the blue, and I was like, it's just anxiety, and unfortunately I had to withdraw from my college course because I was just fainting without any warning, out of the blue. There was no triggers, and it would happen multiple times a day, and it was like a constant, like, vicious cycle. So the tests and investigations I've had, first of all, the doctors thought that it was something to do with my heart. So I've had a ECG done. I had a 72-hour ECG done. I had a ultrasound of the heart, an echocardiogram, and all the results from that came back normal. Everything was okay, heart rate is fine. So we ruled out cardiology side of things, and then before sending me to the neurologist, they wanted me to do a tilt table test. Now I have personally never had a tilt table test before, and it did sound a bit medieval. Basically, if you don't know what the tilt table test is, it is a test where you are like strapped up to a bed, basically strapped up across your chest and the bottom of your legs. You are monitored via like blood pressure, your oxygen and your heart rate. You have two like specialists in there, and basically you start off flat on your back, monitor your heart rate, your oxygen levels, and your blood pressure. When you're laid flat, and you stay there for, I think it's around like 15 minutes, and then they gradually bring the bed up until you're fully like practically standing, and then you are stood there for, I think it's a good like 30-40 minutes, and see if you do have a fainting episode during that test. And if you do have a fainting episode during that test, then I can see like what your body basically does before, during and after the episodes. If you don't have a vasovagal episode, then they will try to bring one on with I think it's called like a GTN spray, and you basically put it like the spray at the back of your throat, and it basically makes like your body work a bit more faster. Like it's a bit like, I think it's like adrenaline, and it makes your heart rate go faster, makes you sweat, and then that will bring on like a fainting episode. That didn't happen for me, but I did experience absence seizures during that. The tilt table test came back fine, everything was okay with that. So then I was on the waiting list for neurology, but the neurology waiting list unfortunately is a year, if not a little bit more than a year waiting list. So I kind of was just in a bit of a like didn't know what to do kind of thing. Like I was still fainting, well, I'm still fainting like fairly often. I'm not fainting as often as I used to, but because like now I know like my triggers and the signs, and I know like how to make sure like I'm safe basically, and I've got somebody with me. So And the neurologist couldn't do anything really about it. I was just waiting all the time. I had a blood pressure monitor done for 24 hours. That came back fine. And it was just a waiting game. So the neurologist was from Sheffield, and they phoned me yesterday morning. My appointment was over the telephone. It wasn't like in person, wasn't remote either. So it's kind of like, I feel like I wanted to see them, but I didn't. From an anxiety point of view, I'm glad that it was over the telephone, just because I feel a little bit less stressed, kind of thing. But yes, the waiting list was long. I was on the waiting list just over a year and a month, and I finally got my appointment. So during the appointment, it was at 9 AM. I got up half an hour because I got like a text message saying that can you be available half an hour before your appointment and half an hour after the appointment. Didn't need to be, because nothing, like, they didn't ring half an hour before, and I didn't need to do like any kind of survey, paperwork kind of thing. Afterwards, I don't know why they text that, because it was a bit pointless. So it was a woman, and basically she was from Sheffield Teaching Hospital, and she basically had already kind of got like a bit of a backstory from the doctors in the hospital, tests, etc. And with the other neurologist I spoke to of December of, I don't know if it was last year, or I think it could have been the year before. I think it was not last year, I think it was the year before. I did see the neurologist over the telephone again, and he said it is either non-epileptic seizures or it is vasovagal syncope, but he wanted to do like a bunch of different tests. Now my mum in the background. So she kind of had like a bit of a backstory, but then I retold her again. She was like, do you know where it kind of like stemmed from? And I basically just explained I was at college one day, wasn't feeling too well, thought it was a panic attack, because I suffer with really bad panic attacks. I've had anxiety since I was 8 years old, so I always put it down to that. But then, because I fainted, I was like, I've never fainted during a panic attack, so this was something different. So I knew it was something out of the ordinary, something to be a little bit concerned about. She explained like if I had any videos of my fainting, which I do, and I've sent them off to her secretary. What, like, if I have bit my tongue, if I've had any injuries, if I lose like bowel / bladder control. And she asked like how many times it happens, how often it happens, how long I'm out for, and who I live with. So I explained that I haven't really sustained any bad injuries from these fainting episodes. The only injury, I wouldn't say they were major or minor, and didn't need to go to hospital anyway for these injuries, was when it was really bad at the start. I did actually faint like on my stairs. So I kind of like fainted like backwards, hit my back, I've hit my shoulder at the bottom of the stairs, fainted outside on like the grass in the living room. But that was before like I knew any of the triggers, and it was just happening without any warning or any control, that I felt like I could get to a safe place. So it didn't happen that way, because I just didn't know what was, like, it just happened and I couldn't control it. Said that my fainting episodes happen daily. depends on how I'm doing in the day. The triggers are if I'm generally just feeling like under the weather, that is a trigger. If I haven't had a good night's sleep, so lack of sleep, stress is another main thing. If none of them are a factor of this, then it probably only happens like probably like 4 times. But if it's really bad, then it can happen up to 20 times. All depends on the mood my body is in. When it first ever happened with my boyfriend anyway, I was upstairs in the bedroom, was laid down whilst he was working, so I wasn't feeling well. And in a space of, I think it was an hour, he said, in the space of an hour, he said that I fainted continuously. Like, I would basically wake up for a few seconds, go back unconscious, and that happened like 20 times. I've been to the hospital twice over the fainting, like A&E. Both said it's just vasovagal syncope and your body's way of saying you need to slow down. And then obviously they didn't think it was seizures, because like at that point I wasn't like shaking. So that's another thing what is now new and has been happening for the past couple of months, that before I go unconscious, I like my whole body basically shakes. It's like I'm freezing cold. That's the only way I can describe it to you guys, is just like I'm like shaking like jerks kind of thing. That happens before I faint, during a faint, well, seizure now, it is seizures now, during a seizure episode, and then depending how long that seizure has lasted, then depends how long I'm confused for afterwards. Like, I'm fairly confused every time I come back round from a seizure episode. It takes me probably a good like 30 minutes to an hour to actually come back fully aware of everything what's just happened, and like come back into the room that, oh right, this is where I am, I know I'm safe because I've got somebody with me. But it just took me a while to think of like who's in the room with me. So she said that during her consultations over the telephone, which I think is quite weird, that she's 95% accurate with her diagnosis, and it is non-epileptic seizures. What I'll do is I will put a picture up of what it is, kind of thing. I kind of did have an inkling that it was non-epileptic seizures, and the reasoning behind that was because they're kind of like brought on by my brain being too overwhelmed with certain things, and I always said like I'm overwhelmed anyway with like anxiety and panic attacks. So like I kind of already knew I had the non-epileptic seizures, plus I've been watching a fair few people on TikTok who have similar conditions to me, and like that happens to me, so I kind of had an inkling that I was going to be non-epileptic seizures, but to hear the words is a little bit different. I need to send in a couple of more videos to her secretary, so then she can kind of have like a look at it and make a full-on like, yeah, like I am like bit what she says is non-epileptic seizures, but she says, to be honest, I don't really need to look at the videos. I kind of just have an inkling with like the fact of what I've told her, what the other doctors have told her, the different tests, etc. What I've described happens during the seizures. The treatment isn't any kind of medication. The treatment is a course of therapy. Now this therapy is a name, and it is called like neuro something therapy. I think it is kind of on a similar stamp to cognitive cognitive behaviour therapy. I think it's on similar stamp to that. But the rating this is 18 months, which is 2 years. But I've got to have like an assessment before that to see if I'm deemed appropriate to be going on to this therapy. So that is the treatment. There's no medication. I'm basically just going to faint, have seizures every single day now for the rest of my life, which is really scary, not gonna lie. I'm not allowed to drive ever again. I'm not allowed to work because of the extent of the seizures, and basically allowed to be supervised a lot. I am allowed to be left on my own because I know like the triggers, and I know how to get to like a safe place, and if I know like my body, so like if I know it's gonna be like super duper bad, then obviously then like not go out, in terms of like my mum or Richard like leave the house. But if it's like having an okay-ish day, then you know I'm allowed to be left on my own, but like not for like super duper long. Baths, I've got to be supervised just in case I have a seizure in the bath. Sleep wise, I don't know what the plan is for that, because I do have seizures in my sleep, which is super duper scary, and the only reason I know I'm having these seizures in my sleep, it's hard to really explain, but it's basically where I basically shake. So I have like start time after like jerking, and then like I'll dream that I'm having a seizure, and then I'm dripped in sweat, and afterwards it's like the same feeling as what I get if I have like a seizure during the day. I don't know how to really explain it, but I know I have a feeling that I know I'm having a seizure in my sleep. It's hard because like I don't sleep with anybody, but like I just know it's hard to explain. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message on any of my social media or just in the comments down below. I will answer. But I wanted to make this video to update you guys, because I've been going along on this journey, and I'm always open and honest with you guys, and I never want to completely miss this video and then just go about carrying on life, and in a few years time be like, oh, by the way guys, I was diagnosed back in 2024 with non-epilepsy, but I didn't want to tell you. I thought it was fair to let you guys know. I am now navigating a new life, it's very different, and I'm still processing it, like the information and like what the future is going to look like, kind of thing. And I also just wanted to come on here and just like spread awareness, let you guys know that you're gonna be okay, even though at the moment you might not feel like you're okay, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and everything will be okay. I have an amazing support system, both family and my boyfriend and my best friends, so I'm extremely grateful for that. My social media is always open for any questions. If you guys are struggling, then feel free to message me. I can always try and make you feel like everything's gonna be okay. But yeah, just let me know if you have any questions down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, or subscribe, please hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys very soon with another video.